for legal sake.
All right, really?
Yeah. We were just talking about home improvements that we both do. Also, I discovered this week. Hang on, you hear this, boys? The gates of heaven have opened.
That was a good pop.
That was.
I'm on a Voodoo Ranger. This is the only IPA I've ever drank that I enjoyed. It's a Voodoo Ranger Fruit Force. It's 9.5%, so I only have one today, but it's very good. I'm very impressed. I
you know what's happening? You're getting older.
You think?
You're getting older. Yeah.
I tried a different
it's
version.
Like house music and back pain. Like you're over 30 now, you're going to start enjoying a nice IPA.
Enjoying IPAs. I tried one of their other ones. It was 11%. It was fucking foul. I took one sip of it and poured it down the sink. But this one is like the perfect balance of fruit punch and beer flavor. So I don't know. Trey, you're an IPA guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I like Voodoo Rangers too. I think they're pretty great. Yeah, I like hazy IPAs. That's like my go-to like order at a bar.
Interesting.
That, one beer, and then tequila sodas. You know, you got to keep the gut in check.
Yeah.
Anthony, what kind of beers do you think you're going to be drinking for your mile?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
I assume Dos Equis.
Well, I was thinking about this, again, 4 beers in a mile's length is a lot of liquid, so like can't go any tall boys, can't go anything too crazy. So, I mean, yeah, light beer would make most sense, especially Mexican beer, water beer. But if you're here, Trey, I'll let you can choose. I mean, it's going to take longer is all I'm saying. Okay, well, let me ask you, can I walk and drink and then once I finish it, crush it and then start running again? And
so Rob has informed me that it is against that we said in our pod when we talked about the beer mile that it is against the rules to move while you're drinking the beer. So you have to drink beer, lap, drink a beer, lap, drink a beer, lap, and then this is gonna be the hard one: drink another beer and then do that last lap.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
my prediction is 2 laps is not going to affect you, and then I think when you get that third beer in you, I think that's when you're going to start dragging.
Yeah, like it's just a lot of liquid.
Around.
Just a lot of liquid. I might have to bust out the old funnel. Your boy used to funnel some beers back in the day just to get it down so we don't have to waste time drinking it and we're already where we want to be, So
yeah,
that would
smart.
make it very entertaining.
It's going to be entertaining, I think, regardless. But I'm not going for any world records here. It's just
that's fair.
If you got some beers you want me to taste, drop them in the comments.
I'll do the running. I'll run with you. I'll run next to you while you do it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a good friend right there.
Yeah, I'll run with you, but I will not be participating in the beer. That is all you. You got to drink the beers.
Now,
I'll run
question is, where can we do this? Because I don't think we can do it at the high school.
You probably could if you went on like a Saturday or something when nobody's there.
Okay.
So apparently they keep it locked down pretty heavy.
Track?
What we could do is we could just go to that park right by your house. And like I can just keep the distance I'll carry the beers for you and I'll keep the distance. So when I know we're at 0.25, I'll hand you another beer.
All right.
That way you don't have to we don't have to worry about it being like at a school and like get in trouble or anything like that.
That's better for me too. Like I always hated, running was a punishment for me back in the day. And like, it's very much ingrained into my psyche. Like the idea of running around in a circle for X amount of times is just like, that's the most torture, I think, for me. Just the thought of doing something monotonous like that. But on a track like where we can cover ground, they actually built a new trail that goes from that park all the way to Oak Mountain State Park. So we might explore it. It's completed now, so we might explore it.
Interesting. I'm excited for this. I'm very excited for this. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Totally Biased Music. It's Blake, Trey, and Anthony, and today we are reviewing long-awaited album, my album pick, Nevermind by Nirvana, and the gentleman, Guy Ritchie film, first Guy Ritchie film that I've ever seen. So that'll be an interesting discussion. I picked Nevermind because Nirvana is my favorite band of all time. Led Zeppelin, close second, probably. And this album is just an iconic album. It is arguably Nirvana's best album. It is obviously their most popular album. Just a little bit from the wiki here. Nevermind became an unexpected critical and commercial success, reaching the top 10 on the charts across the world. On January 11th, 1992, it replaced Michael Jackson's Dangerous at the #1 spot in the U.S. Billboard and sold approximately 300,000 copies in its first week. The lead single, Smells Like Teen Spirit, reached the top 10 of the U.S. Billboard Top 100 and went on to be inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Nevermind propelled Nirvana into worldwide superstardom, with Cobain being dubbed the voice of a generation. It brought grunge and alternative rock to a mainstream audience while accelerating the decline of hair metal, drawing similarities to the 1960s British invasion of American popular music. It is also credited with initiating the resurgence of interest in punk culture among teens and young adults of Gen X, one of the only good things that Gen X ever did. And it has sold now more than 30 million copies, making it one of the best-selling albums of all time. So I'm super stoked to talk about this. I love this album. I never get tired of listening to it. I know you guys have heard it, rinsed it, repeated it. How was your listen through this time? Anthony, you can lead us off.
It was great. I mean, all of us, I'm sure, very familiar with a lot of the front half of this album, but for me, not so much the back end. Tracks 7 through 10, give or take. I hadn't spent a lot of time with them, especially without being in the context of this album. I don't find myself listening to Nirvana near as much as I used to, for whatever reason. I think I'm in a kind of a discovery phase and a different lane of music right now, but this is something that you can always go back to. And for me, yeah, this album is a lot of energy. It's kind of a paradox too, this album, because it's an excellent album and commercially was super successful, but the pressure that it puts on artists to try to follow up something like this or feel like they have to, stay in a certain lane of music, it does a lot. But the next album was just as good, in my opinion, In Utero. But yeah, had a great time listening to this. I'm kind of pissed at myself for not just immediately thinking Nirvana when Blake mentioned, my favorite band. So I'll take that one. But yeah, solid pick. And yeah, excited to talk about it. It's great
Fuck
album.
Yeah. Trey?
Yeah, this feels like a long time coming for us to review this. Not only is it, one of your favorite bands, but I mean, it's definitely, I think, their best album. And it's just such a classic. It's in that, like, one of those that has a life of its own as far as, especially like the big hits on the album. Something that I noticed this time around listening to it is just a lot of the pop structure, especially in the first half of the album, is what really makes some of this like grunge and like aggression like be a lot more palpable. Smells like even someone's playing out loud. We're going to get copyrighted for that. Courtney Love's going to come for us. But even like Smells Like Teen Spirit, like, I mean, that's a song that I've listened to a billion times. Like I could, recite it in my sleep and, like know it in and out. And there's like kind of moments in the song that like grab me a little bit differently than they have in the past. And then, like Anthony said, the back half and some of the energy, especially starting with Territorial Pissings, and like even Endless Nameless, just like the full on thrash of that song, like kind of gives you a little bit more of a taste of like what Nirvana's bread and butter was in a live setting. And Kurt Cobain and Nirvana in general are definitely in that group of bands. If you could go back in time and see, like, I'm sure Blake, they're probably up there for you. They're definitely up there for me.
100%.
So yeah, no, it's definitely fun to actually give this a full, like, totally biased treatment. I'm excited to kind of get into each track.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kurt said, many years afterwards that he actually didn't like Nevermind, which when it initially released, I mean, Kurt was obviously an emotional bipolar guy, but he said that he didn't like how poppy it was, essentially, that was one thing that really kind of ate at him. But it obviously did lead to the commercial success of it, right? So starting off, first off, have we ever had an album open with a track as iconic as this? Like, I totally forgot that Smells Like Teen Spirit is the first song on this album. It has almost 3 billion plays on Spotify, which is just so crazy to me. But this is the Nirvana staple, right? Everybody knows this song. I mean, I don't think there's a single generation that didn't listen, or doesn't know this song, and it never gets old. Like, I don't care how mainstream or quote unquote poppy it is in terms of a grunge setting. Smells Like Teen Spirit, it's one of the best songs on the album. It's always going to be in my top tracks. Like, it's just an iconic song, man. I never get sick of it. And the chorus, I feel stupid and contagious, here we are now, entertain us, is just like a perfect encapsulation for that song and for this album. And the video's iconic too. The video is super iconic. So what do you guys think? Are you sick of it yet? Or is it still up there?
Well, I'll say this, because I mean, when I was younger, this song was nonstop on the radio, a couple other ones too. And like, it did get to a point in my life where I was like, okay, I think I've had enough of this song, but like enough of a break brings it is like exactly what I needed, to come back. And I had this exact same experience as you, Blake, where I was like, fuck, I did not recall this one kicking off the album. But yeah, I wrote next to it, is this the best intro song ever? I mean, and like it's hard to compare it to anything else because it does what it needs to. It kicks it off, and like that little 2-second riff I accidentally played. You play that for anybody in the world, they're gonna know exactly what's about to happen, and it does set a great tone. So yeah,
you don't. It's not even a full guitar like chord, just a like you know exactly who that is.
Exactly. What'd you think?
For me, I mean, it definitely has worn tired. I mean, it's like such a overplayed song in so many different situations, so I don't necessarily have it as a top, but that doesn't mean I like dislike it. I guess I maybe never noticed this before, but I like this lyrics, and I forgot just why I say, so yeah, I guess it makes me smile. I found it hard, it's hard to find. Oh well, whatever, never mind. Which is like real. First off, using the name of the album in the song, which is cool. I always love when that happens, like when it's not like a title track. But even more so, like it's really putting on that like angst of like I don't give a fuck about anything type of thing that Kurt Cobain was all about. I just thought it's like a perfect little encapsulation of Nirvana.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, then we get into In Bloom, which shocking to me, In Bloom is not. I mean, it's heavily played, obviously, in terms of the songs on this album, but I like. In Bloom, I think, was a single as well, or maybe it was Lithium and Come As You Are. I don't know if In Bloom was or not. But In Bloom is another, like, I don't know if it's just because I've listened to the album so much, but this just feels like such an iconic Nirvana song, and the intro guitar riff, like just those heavy grungy chords, Dave Grohl on the drums. This is Dave Grohl's first album with Nirvana too. But I love In Bloom. There's rumors that this was about their producer, that it's a reference to their producer at the time. But really, I think you can just take it as like any kid that's listening to Nirvana in the 1990s, right? Like they're just there for the vibes, and they like all the pretty songs, and they like to sing along, and they may not know what it means, but they're fucking there for it anyway, So I really, really like In Bloom. I had it as another top track as well. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I love that concept of like not knowing exactly what the intentions are maybe behind the track itself, but still vibing with it. And like Kurt's lyrics don't come across as like, even though he's saying, they may not know what it means, it doesn't feel like he's like demeaning them for liking his music. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
Like, and I love how this song, I kind of coin it as like this breakdown banger coming off of Smells Like Teen Spirit because it has iconic riffs in it as well. But Kurt's guitar playing, I don't think gets a lot of, obviously his death and just his figure head of himself like gets a lot of that attention, but his guitar playing I don't think gets a lot of attention, but it showcases in this track and throughout the album. But I love this song, of course.
Yeah, nice little solo in there too towards the end, like a very screechy, grungy guitar solo, which is always fun.
The two things that really jumped off the page for this one for me was like Kurt's voice and like that like super iconic only him scream that he can do. And then Dave Grohl's drum fills throughout this track are really cool, especially in the last part of the song after like that guitar solo you're talking about. Like there's just these like energy filled like big tom toms like drum fills that sound super great. And once again, like these first 3 or 4 songs, well, not Breed, but the first Smells Like Teen Spirit, In Bloom, Come As You Are, and Lithium, they all have like a really heavy pop structure. And Kurt Cobain loved the Beatles, like he was a huge fan of the Beatles, and it seems like that kind of came through in some of these, even if he did grow to hate it later, which I mean I think he grew to hate most things later.
Yeah, true. Chris Novoselic's bass line in this song too, very, very iconic bass line throughout the whole song. So got to give him credit where it's due. Okay, track 3, Come As You Are, second most played song on the album. Extremely popular. He does this, we have talked about, or I don't know if I was on the Unplugged episode, but there is the Unplugged version of this song, which is gorgeous and so haunting and amazing. But the record version of it, I love it. I have it as an honorable mention just because there's so many songs I like more than Come As You Are, but I do obviously really enjoy this song, and I think it has a time and place, and I like that it's positioned in the record because it does kind of slow down after Smells Like Teen Spirit and In Bloom. And he's singing here, he's singing, he's not screaming, and his voice sounds great. It sounds really good, which is super impressive.
And this song, it kind of does feel like the album peaks really early, and then it's just energy wise bringing it down, because then Breed's going to bring it back up again. But the sounds in this song are really, this is kind of, when I used to think of grunge, it was like Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, even some Stone Temple Pilots kind of getting into the 90s. And Nirvana was kind of in its own thing. He had already passed by the time I figured out what this music was. So I looked at Nirvana as this kind of rock radio rage energy kind of band. But Come As You Are really, for me, sets that kind of really grunge tone in this track. I mean, real heavy strings. And again, another iconic, just, you play someone 3 seconds of the first song. Nirvana's probably the easiest trivia band ever. You play the first song and they're like, oh, I got it. But yeah, I love this song, and I love the lyrics too. I always thought he was saying memory, just the word memory, but it's actually the Latin word for memory. Like memoria. And that never stuck out to me until I kind of finally looked at the lyrics. So yeah, iconic song.
Iconic guitar throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, especially the like mini solo. It's fantastic. This is one of my top for sure. I think that it's a big statement for them as far as, you got to think about grunge and punk and all those type of things like being more on the fringe of like pop culture. And I think this is kind of the statement to like your crowd and your audience of all these new people that are coming into the scene, like Come As You Are, like we're not scary. And I think that's kind of the idea that permeates throughout this song, which like is, this could be very intimidating, especially when you hadn't heard things like this before, but it obviously moved people greatly. And so like having to like kind of, juggle that as a young Gen Xer, which I agree with you, Blake, it's probably one of the few things they ever got right. Yeah. Maybe we can play a Fuck Kill Mary later with like Gen X, Gen Z, and Boomers. And you can't say fuck Gen Z because that's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is like, of the pop tracks of these first 3 or 4 songs, this is my favorite.
Very nice.
Kind of like from these first 3 tracks, like the music video in Smells Like Teen Spirit is literally a crowd at a show, like just moshing and mobbing, right? In Bloom is talking about somebody, not knowing what the music is, but really liking it. And Come As You Are is like the invitation. It's like these first 3 tracks, they're literally like opening up the world to saying, come and check this out, and everyone's invited, But again, it's like when you open it up to the world and the world latches on to you like that, they start to leech on you, And I think that's a huge byproduct of this epic album.
True. Number 4, Breed. This is my favorite song on the album. This is easily my favorite song on the album. Breed goes so fucking hard. It's like, it is a dance grunge track. That's what this is. Like, you can't, this song does gym 100%. The whole album gyms.
The whole album gyms. The whole album gyms.
But this song in particular, and I love the line, I don't mean to stare, we don't have to breed, we can plant a house, we can build a tree, I don't even care, we can have all 3. She said, it's just the tempo of this song, the guitar, the drums, like everything about it. This is like Nirvana in peak form for me. So hands down, my favorite song on the album.
I had a feeling it was going to be one of your favorites, but for me, it's not one of my favorites. But like, I just wrote down like Dave Grohl in all caps, like the way the drums are driving this track. Like for me, this was the real kind of like, stand up and take a bow, Dave Grohl, and show them what you've got. Because, I mean, the energy that they're producing in this track is wild on every level. Lyrically, musically, emotionally, they're hitting it. And I love that line you mentioned, Blake.
Yeah, it's great. Also, Dave Grohl gets too much shit, man. People don't respect Dave Grohl as a drummer, but you know what? We do. We do at this pod.
We do. He's exactly what they needed for what they did. Like, I can close
100%.
my eyes right now and like hear and see exactly how Dave Grohl's playing this.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of hair in his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, Breed's great. It's like an honorable mention for me just because I love the energy. Like, this is like throw your elbows at somebody in the pit type music. But still kind of accessible. You know what I mean? It's nothing too crazy. There is one once we get down here that we get to that is my second favorite track that is like this on steroids, I think. So with that, we can move on to Lithium.
Yeah, so Lithium, man, when I was a kid, like, I think I first started listening to Nirvana when I was probably like 12, like maybe 12 or 13. And, you know, when you're a preteen, a teenager, like, everything is, you know, you're angsty. Everything is so much of a bigger deal than it is. You're emotional. Your hormones are going crazy. And, like, the line, "I'm so happy because today I found my friends, they're in my head," is such an iconic Kurt line. And like, when I was a kid, I was like, man, that shit hits so hard. And I still think it hits hard. But back then it was hitting way harder. But I love this song. I think it's a great song. It's not one of my tops, but I do really enjoy it. I think it's I'm surprised that Lithium was a single, because this one feels a lot darker. It feels a lot more grungy, but I think the chorus and just the music of the chorus on top of Kurt's singing is kind of a mainstream sound to it. But good song.
Yeah, for me, obviously the first line, yeah, is iconic. I love it, and yeah, it will never get old. But the balance of this song, it's full of peaks and valleys. Like, it starts in a valley and really like melodic, and then you know it's gonna build and yeah, you know, and then it brings it back down. And those types of tracks, there's a handful on this album that really do that well. Like, that is my vibe, you know, really just tempo changing, but just what you need. It's going to release when you want it. It's very cathartic and energetic, and you can just scream along with Kurt. But then it mellows out back into the groove. So, like, yeah, this is one of my top tracks for sure on the album.
Yeah, Anthony actually was going to say the same thing as far as like balance goes, because like this is kind of where that's put on full display, especially with Kurt's voice, where he's like does have a nice little singing voice going in there, and then he does the yeah, you know, the same thing you just did. Yeah, it's a good song. I definitely have heard it a billion times, so not one of my tops, but it's a good song.
Yeah. Then we get real dark in this next song, Polly. So this is an all acoustic song. This is probably one of the first songs I learned how to play on guitar, and
that says so much about you.
No thought in my head about the lyrical context of this, whatever. I don't know if you guys know this. So there's rumors that, let me see if I can get this right. So reportedly, this song is actually about a 14-year-old girl who was abducted, tortured, and raped in 1987 in Tacoma, Washington. So that is like from the view of this song, which, I mean, kind of gives you a glimpse into how fucked up Kurt was in the head. It's not a top or a bottom for me. It's really, with that context, the song is just really fucking dark. I do like the fact that halfway through you get an acoustic song and it's just Kurt strumming and playing, and there's small instrumentation in the background, but it's really just him and his guitar. So, you know, decent song, but very, very dark. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I really like this song, you know, and I've always liked it in the context. Knowing the context, I mean, it's hard to kind of, I guess, battle inside of myself to know that you're singing the song, but of the tragedy that's occurred with the song. But really, I love the fact that they put this stripped out song in the middle of this album, you know, where it goes a lot of places. But I think this song really showcases Kurt at his most raw, you know. I mean, there's not a lot of effects. There's not a lot of screaming and screeching in this track, you know. I mean, it's kind of beautiful, but again, it is very dark and very haunting. But that to me, that kind of haunting layer that's laced in a lot of really good grunge tracks or albums, that's what kind of attracts me to it, you know, is that it's not very dynamic, but the more you dig into this track, you're like, oh my, wow, this is really, really heavy.
Yeah, this song's sad. This is definitely like on, and usually I'm a sad boy kind of guy, but this one's like just kind of intense, especially like even the way that his vocals are, like they are raw, but it's also like they're barely coming out of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is one of my two bottoms, just because like I don't know, I just don't really enjoy listening to it. It doesn't put me in like a good place, and there's nothing to like get that energy out. But I will say like it is a nice little break in the album, and it's also it still kind of has like a little bit of like a pop influence with it. It's just like the like it's just like a singer songwriter, but the songwriter / singer is just really not happy.
Well, and
it's not Jack Johnson.
I would have
I'll tell you that much.
I would have to think that, like, Kurt, I think something that he really wanted, and I'm speaking on Kurt's behalf, right? But like, I think something Kurt wanted to do was to put people in a strange kind of headspace, right? Whether for whatever reason, but I think what it does is it helps people kind of reflect onto themselves or their own experiences in some way. Now, there's probably better ways to do it than to sing about a incident from 1987 that really happened and really affected him. But like, at some point he's bringing attention to that this happened, so I think that there's something in there. I may not be able to explain it, but like there's something in there to say he's willing to tell people, look, don't not remember this fucked up shit that happened, right?
Yeah,
try to pull something
also, this is totally unrelated, but I'll have to find the show, but this just speaks to who Kurt was. I think Kurt was a troubled individual, but I think he was a really deep down, a really good person and cared a lot about people. And there's this show that they played, I think it was in Brazil or somewhere, where they had an all-female opener and the crowd like booed and harassed them, like threw shit at them. So when Nirvana came out, they basically played 0 hits. They kept teasing Smells Like Teen Spirit, then wouldn't played it and played shit like Breed and Territorial Pissings and like tuned their guitars incorrectly and like it was just like screeching and noises and shit like that. So shout out to Kurt for that. I thought that was a great revenge for them. Okay, number 7, Territorial Pissings. Holy fuck, man. Jesus Christ, like this is pedal to the fucking floor grunge music right here, and you don't even really, I mean, whatever he's doing with his voice in the beginning, you're like, all right, let's get ready for this, and then it just launches into this. I mean, it feels like a metal song. It's like metal grunge hybrid going on here. But I love this song. I think it's great. I think when I was younger, I didn't like it, and it started to grow on me. So big ups. I gotta throw Territorial Pissings. Also, partially because of the name, I'm throwing it as one of my top tracks.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, you were drawn to that fast thrash, like that's what I've come to realize with you, and like for me, I see the song for what it is. I don't love it, but I love the energy that they bring to it, if that makes sense, like just again, kind of like in the same vein as Polly, like that they're willing to do that on this album. They're also willing to throw this crazy super thrash punk grunge kind of hybrid thing right at you, and they don't give a fuck, So yeah, I definitely admire that. Not one of my favorite songs, but it's got its place for sure.
Yeah.
This is my second favorite track on the album. This song goes fucking hard. It makes me want to run through a brick wall. Like the voice at the very beginning too is like so cool and weird and like alien kind of, and then like the lyrics are great, but like they don't matter in the slightest. Just because like it's just about what they're like throwing in your face. This song's fantastic. It's so intense.
Yeah.
And I probably also did not like it when I was younger either, if I had to guess.
It definitely grew on me as I got older. And I figured out, like, as you get older, you figure out what lane you're in, like what you really are drawn to. And then you come back to old records and you're like, oh, what did I miss from this? What can I take away from it now? Okay, track 8, Drain You. Very interesting lyrics in Drain You. It starts off with one baby to another says, I'm lucky to have met you. I don't care what you think unless it's about me. It is now my duty to completely drain you. I don't know how I feel about this song. I don't have any bottom tracks, really, but I'm just indifferent to Drain You. I do like Kurt's voice in the chorus. It is very, as he's singing, it's very like raw Kurt. and sometimes, his voice works really well. Sometimes it's like kind of jarring in like a good way, and it's pretty jarring on this track. So yeah, I'm kind of just indifferent. I don't have a strong opinion on it.
Yeah, I can definitely see, because it's not like, it's not a very dynamic song. It's kind of like it's hard to say Nirvana playing a traditional rock song, but it's very, it can be predictable, I guess, but the lyrics not, and that's where just the opening line that you said, Blake, it brings you back to this kind of childlike state of mind. And but what I found on this track was that I guess you could say the lyrics kind of relate to two people meeting, or how do I say this, like bedridden patients forming a relationship, like there's all this imagery of yellow fluid and drain tubes and just all this like medical stuff, but I think at the heart of it is like there's just these two people connecting one way or another. But the way Kurt describes it is very interesting, to say the least. But his lyrics are fucking God. I mean, when I look back at this album now and read these lyrics and go, okay, now add 30 years to this individual, and what is he speaking on now, or what is he talking about now, or how is he expressing himself now? And man, it's just such a heartbreak to know that that's not possible. But your mind can wander in a lot of places to think, okay, what would a 50-year-old Kurt Cobain do with his life?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Probably making music like Jack Johnson. I think a couple of these lines are drug references, like with eyes so dilated, I've become your pupil. You taught me everything about a poison apple. The water's so yellow and I'm a healthy student. Indebted and so grateful, vacuum out the fluids. So I think the latter is probably a heroin reference, because like that's what happens when you like are needling out some heroin. I know firsthand experience. But like it just seems like a bit of a drug reference there. I think the song is kind of like take it or leave it for me. It's a little boring. It kind of sounds, and not this band is boring, but it kind of sounds like a Foo Fighters song, like structurally and just like, some of the other aspects of it. But I guess I would have this as like my other bottom if I have to pick a second one.
Fair. Very fair. Next up, Lounge Act, track 9, Novoselic bass line in this one. Very prominent, very nice. Short song. Fun fact, only song on the album that has a swear word on it. So Nirvana may seem very heavy and scary, but they don't even swear most of the time. There is an F word in this song. Children. Yeah, Nirvana is for the kids, baby. No,
go ahead.
I really like this song. I love the tempo of it. I really like the bass and the drum work in it. And I like the use of the F word. So I have it as an honorable mention. Think it's a solid song. What were you going to say, Anthony?
Well, I was going to make some sort of parallel between Nirvana's for the children, no cuss words, but then again, the album cover, shows a little full frontal, but there's just is not the place for that. But anyway,
are we cool with that now? Like, it's kind of weird, right?
So they, this kid sued them.
Up. Oh
yeah, I did know that.
Yeah, he sued them and then lost in court because the judge was like, "This is not child pornography. Like, it's a baby doing what babies do. Yeah. Like, babies are naked sometimes.
Yeah,
like
that's true, but you can't post it on the internet."
Well, pre-internet maybe.
Go ahead and try.
I get that.
Yeah. Hop on Facebook, post a picture of a baby dick, see what happens.
No, yeah,
fair enough.
Right, but I mean, didn't he get like royalties for that? I mean, like, wasn't there?
I
like
believe
some
so.
sort of,
yeah,
I would think that there wouldn't be any. Obviously, he's grown.
So child porn's okay if we pay the kids.
Not what I'm saying. I mean, I guess Trey, so are you saying they should just never have had a baby on the cover? Yeah.
I do think it's weird. Yeah, I think baby dick is weird. Yeah.
Well, what's so okay? Like, if they're,
but it's so iconic. Like, it's
you could have the same thing just with a little black bar or something. I don't know, man. It's just a little strange.
On the topic of like consent. Like if there's just a baby on the cover of an album, maybe it's not in any sort of like pornographic way, but if the album's like crude or whatever, is there a place to say that like we shouldn't put babies on covers of anything, really? Because they're not able to like I mean,
it's not the baby that I'm taking the issue with. It's
the baby
it's
dick.
The baby penis.
I mean, but the dick is attached to a baby, you know?
Well, so apparently,
Yeah.
they had a bunch of pictures. The reason they picked this one is because it was the clearest. Like, it was the clearest image. All the other images were like apparently blurry or didn't look good. So
Yeah.
that's
Man.
partially why.
I would say,
We're straying from the topic of lounge acts. Actually, that was what we were talking about.
well, so just to wrap that up, if they float that dollar, you know, artistically censoring the penis, I think we all are in agreement. You know,
I think that's
great.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The almighty
Yep.
dollar. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so Lounge Act, it wasn't one of my favorites. You know, I wrote it's a rock song. May have something to do with Kurt in a previous relationship. I think a couple tracks may have to do with Kurt in his previous relationships. But yeah, not terrible, but not my favorite. You know, I just wrote quintessential rock song next to it. That's all I got.
I'm still thinking about the cover, but yeah, no, it's just more of like a slow rock song. I would say I like it more than Drain You. Nothing super crazy to write home.
Fair. So track 10, Stay Away. Another Dave Grohl song. Dave flexing the drum skills.
Mhm.
Some fast fucking drumming here. And he's really showed off here. This is another song where like I can't tell if I like it or not, because it's almost like it belongs in the category of territorial pissings and breed and kind of maybe lounge act to a degree. But I don't know, it's pretty fucking repetitive, man. Like, it's pretty fucking repetitive. The chorus is super repetitive. So I do like the instrumentation of it, and I love the drums kind of leading the track, but yeah, I mean, it's not a bottom or a top. It's just there for me.
Yeah. I'd agree. I mean, it's another thrash track, you know. I can just imagine, though, what Kurt and Chris were like when they first saw Dave play. Because I imagine that Dave just showed off one of these types of like just intro going crazy. And they're like, oh my gosh, we're going to do some crazy shit with this guy, you know, and then just kind of take off. But yeah, not one of my favorite tracks, but I do like the idea or how Kurt's vocals are kind of, they're complementary. You know, he's like saying something in one kind of register, and then he's responding to it in a more like fuzzy fidelity kind of way, where it's kind of like back and forth like that. I really like that in this track.
I love the lyrics of this song, especially kind of like reflecting on some of the similar themes that we talked about before with Come As You Are. It's like, I'd rather be dead than cool. Like, you know, stay, like, you know, Scenester, stay away from me, I kind of feel like is what the general vibe of this is. And it's cool to see a album with a guy who's so emotional, like not just have emotions about girls or existential crises or things like that, like having like tangible like things to bitch about as far as, you know, like what's happening with them and their band. That's something I think that Kurt does a really good job like articulating throughout this album, but especially on this song. It's like an honorable mention-esque, I would say.
Fair. Very fair.
And now I want to introduce On a Plane, because I want to talk about how every time I'm ever on a fucking airplane, this song plays in my head. Every single time. Like, we're about to take on I'm on a plane every time. So go ahead, Blake. Sorry.
Oh, we lost Anthony briefly.
I'm gonna figure this out.
It says you're recording on a new track, but that's okay. So here's the thing. I don't have any bottom tracks, but I do not understand the fascination with this song when it comes to, because like this is you can't tell by the plays, but like this is a very popular Nirvana song and people really, really like it. And I think it's fine. Like, it is great for when you're on a plane and it starts playing in your head. It's perfect for that. But I don't know. I was never super inspired by it. I think it's kind of, I feel like this, looking back, is what Kurt talked about, like being disappointed with parts of the album. Like, it just seems so generic to me, you know? I don't know.
I can see that.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing terribly special. I just have that specific connection to like being on. I'm on a plane. I'm like looking around everybody else. I'm like, you're on a plane. Like, we're all on a plane. You're like, I swear to God, that moment has happened for me. I don't do it out loud because I don't speak to anybody on airplanes because I'm not a sociopath. But I don't know. It's still kind of fun. It's like a fun little chorus and hook. But it is like, this is a pop song. This is like a pop song.
Yeah, that's what it comes across as to me, and it doesn't vibe with me. Anthony, what do you think?
I'm kind of right in the middle. I love Trey just added a whole new layer of this song.
He's in the middle seat, if you will.
Where it's like, where if next time I think probably forevermore, if I hear this song, I'll probably envision Trey singing it or, hearing it in his head while he's on a plane. So like, you're leveled up.
You're on a plane. We're all on a plane.
Oh man, that's
air travel's amazing. It's a miracle.
Right? Yeah, it is.
Okay, so getting towards the end, Something in the Way. Now this, as you guys have probably known, I like to aptly sing Something in My Ass to the tune of this. So Something in my ass.
Yeah.
But this song blew up because of Batman, so people started to revisit it. It's one of my top songs. I think it's it's one of the, it's such a slow song, but it's dark, it's melodic, it's brooding, it's very interesting, but I really, really like this song, and I think it's aged really well too. I'm glad that it started to get popular again after Batman. So shout out Robert Pattinson, shout out Batman for that.
Yeah.
And shout out my rendition, Something in My Ass.
Shout out Something in Your Ass.
Anthony, thoughts?
I fucking love this song. Like, it's one of my top songs. Like, for my top tracks, Lithium, Poly, Something in the Way, Come As You Are, they have a similar kind of aura to them. They're dark, but they're not like overbearing. Like, I don't know. This is a song that moves, and it's something that you can kind of float around to. And when I saw the Batman in theaters, that was one of my first reactions afterwards. Was like, Blake is gonna love this moment in this movie right here because
it is so perfect too.
It is exactly the vibe for this type of track, So I fucking love it. I did have a question. If either of y'all, Blake, did you own this CD?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, I think this was the last titled track on the album, and then the one we're going to talk about in a second was kind of like a bonus track that was like on the back end of that song. If that's true, then the last track just got a little bit better to me because it's kind of like it's like a curtain call almost, But
it was a hidden track.
Yeah, so Something in the Way, if that being like kind of the official closer, let's say, of this album, what a landing spot because of where we started and how all the ways we went to get there. I fucking love the down-tempo grunge feeling of Something in the Way.
So it says, to Cobain's indignation, hidden track Endless Nameless was absent on the initial pressings of the CD. He then demanded it be included as originally intended. It appears on later pressings after about 10 minutes of silence following Something in the Way, making track 12's total length 20 minutes and 35 seconds.
That's kind of cool.
That's fucking sick.
Love that.
Yeah,
a hidden track. Remember when hidden tracks used to be a thing?
Swayze did that one time.
A lot of similarities between Swayze.
They're basically the same band. This is my favorite song on the album by and far. I think it's super unique. I think there's like something magical about those strings that come in. Kurt's voice is different than it sounds on almost any of the other tracks on the album. And when I saw it in that Batman movie, I was like, it's one of the best uses of a song in a movie that and it's unbelievable. And the first time I saw that movie, I was having an interesting experience, and this song was like just like super just like powerful, and like the way it does that drone shot over the city, and then like Robert Pattinson's all upset and moody, and it's phenomenal. So can't say enough about that scene, can't say enough about this song. It's gorgeous. Well,
and I just got so excited because like I felt like for the first time I felt like the old head that was like, all these kids that are going to see Batman are gonna like hear this Nirvana song, and they're gonna be like they're gonna want to go seek it out. They're gonna want to seek out more Nirvana, right? Like I felt like our parents, like if somebody uses a Led Zeppelin song or a Beatles song or whatever it may be, like it was fucking awesome. They nailed it. And yeah, Anthony, you're right. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that was the best part of the movie for me.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so track 13, hidden track. Now that I read that, because I totally forgot that was a thing, I kind of wish it ended with Something in the Way. because I think that would have been a beautiful ending. But I do like it as I like Endless Nameless as a hidden track because I could just picture in the 90s put that in the CD and you get to the end and you're like, oh shit, like what an ending, just sitting in silence thinking about it, and then Endless Nameless comes on and fucks your
exactly
face. Skull fucks you. Yeah, this song is a lot. I mean, it's a lot. It's crazy, but it is very Kurt Cobain-esque to demand that this be in the album. I will say that. I don't love it. It's a lot. It's very jarring. I don't hate it either. I think it has its it fits with what Nirvana is and who Kurt Cobain is for sure. But something in the way would have been a better ending, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I mean, I would still call it the ending, you know? It's like, but to sit there in silence, I mean, that picture right there is spot on, you know? And I think Kurt is the guy who's like, all right, you think you're calm now? Just wait till you hear this, you know? And like, the thing I was reading on this track was that I think it's like they made this out of outtakes from, I think it's Lithium, where they were like messing up the recording for Lithium. So they were just frustrated and they're just getting out a lot of energy. And that's what this kind of became. You know?
Fucking hear it.
Yeah, I think so.
Makes sense.
I mean, their energy does translate, I think, directly to the music, you know?
Yeah.
So. Not my favorite, but it's got its space and it's kind of hidden right over there.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can picture them in the studio just like throwing themselves around and like getting close to the amps and fucking like just causing a ruckus. All right. Ratings. I mean, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. You guys knew this. No spoilers. You guys should have known this. It's arguably one of my favorite, at least within the rock genre. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I could probably think of two albums I like close to as much as I like Nevermind. I do really love In Utero. I also like Bleach. I think it's a decent album, but you know, it took them a while to find their rhythm. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Dave Grohl is the missing piece. You know, I mean, I think that his addition to the band really, because like Bleach comparative to Nevermind, I mean, Blake, what would you say? Like, I mean, would you say they're worlds apart? You've listened to Bleach more than me, but like, what do you think would be the stark difference between the two? Is time the difference? Just time together?
Yeah, I think like the best way I can sum it up is like Nevermind feels like a complete album and Bleach doesn't. I don't really know how to explain it unless you listen to Bleach like kind of front to back. Bleach just sounds like a band. I mean, it's 1989 when Bleach comes out and it's their first record. It just seems like they're kind of trying to get their footing as a grunge band and in a time when grunge is not popular. It's more raw and it's more similar to Endless Nameless, right? A lot of the songs on Bleach are that type of sound, right? Whereas Nevermind has more of a complete kind of commercial sound, which could be better or worse depending on who you ask and what type of music they listen to. I still think Bleach is a great album worth listening to. And I think the reason like their run is so perfect with, and they had Incesticide too, which is another great album of like B-sides and throwaways, but Bleach, Nevermind, In Utero is like the perfect 3 album combination because Nevermind is in the center at the forefront. It's very commercial and kind of poppy at times, like pop grunge music. And then In Utero is almost a return to Bleach, just in a more famous setting, right? They're Nirvana at this point. They have more money. They have a more fine-tuned sound. And In Utero is very dark and very interesting and a lot slower at times. And so I think that run, like that 3 album run is really special. And I think In Utero is arguably, I mean, depending on what day you ask me, like I would say I like In Utero more than I like Nevermind. Like it kind of goes back and forth, but In Utero is very emotional and it's very, very dark. So yeah.
And I mean, in that conversation, I think that point of those 3 albums being your first 3 albums, being a big trajectory of music over time and development too, speaks a lot, you know. I give this album a 9 just because honestly, like, there's some Alice in Chains that it just has my heart and it can't let go. But a very, very highly respectable 9 from me.
Nice.
Trey?
I give it a solid 8. I'm not like the biggest fan of Nirvana. Like, I mean, I like them, but I'm not like some crazy big fan like you are. I like what they influence a lot more, I think, than I like them themselves. But I still really enjoy a lot of these tracks. It's still absolutely classic, and I mean the reach that it had and what it did for rock music and grunge music and all of that in between is massive. So you have to respect the playa. That is Nirvana.
True.
Yeah.
Really
wish I would have said
you
that.
do. I want you guys. This is your totally biased homework assignment. I want you
I'm not
to
doing
go
fucking
listen.
homework.
I want you to go listen to Aneurysm, which is a song on Incesticide, and it is the last track on the album, and it is my favorite Nirvana song. So you should go listen to it and tell me what you think. All right. Well, that was Nevermind. I'm really glad we got to do it. Very special album to me. Very special place in my heart. So I'm glad that we got to talk about it and you guys liked it. Let's get into Rides or Dies. And I'm starting it off because I want to know what Trey's fucking problem is. So I sent...
Bro, I've been waiting for this moment.
I sent a Destiny's Child song, which is Say My Name. Has 1 billion plays on Spotify, by the way. I was listening to a playlist called 2000s Club Bangers, and this song came on. I was like, man, what a great fucking song this is. And I had to send it. So what's your damage, Trey?
Here's
What's
my
going
issue
on
with
here?
this. It's not the song, okay? You're getting away from what Rides or Dies is. All right, Rides or Dies when you bring a song.
No.
Rides or Dies when you bring a song and you want to ask us, does this ride or does this die? You know this song rides. Like, you don't bring that weak, strong shit in here. Like, it's obvious this is a ride. It's like, yeah, like, give me something that I at least might not like. This is such a banger. It's unbelievable. Don't fucking bring something that's so good as the Rides or Dies.
So I had to bring more controversial picks.
Yeah, that's not the purpose of this segment, man. You're getting
I thought
away.
it was songs that you've been listening to that you want to send to determine if the rest of the class likes
What's the key
song.
part of that sentence? So to determine if you know for a fact that we think this rides, and if you say anything different, I'm gonna be shocked. You're gonna say it rides. It's fucking,
yeah,
it's so fucking rides. It rides way too hard. Don't bring that here.
Okay.
Oh fuck! All right, fair enough.
That's
fair
my
enough.
issue.
I will take it. Okay, Trey, what did you bring?
So I brought "Staple It Together" by Jack Johnson, who I've referenced a couple times during this podcast.
You on a Jack Johnson kick?
Yeah, so, I was having a little bit of a stressful day. Moving's kind of stressful, and so I was like, listen to something, and I was like, it's just not hitting, and I was like, you know what would hit right now? Some good times on the beach, singer-songwriter playing the guitar, Jack Johnson. So I turned on this album. It did exactly what I needed to do, and I really like this song. So what'd y'all think of "Staple It Together" by Jack Johnson?
So I want to say this because, ironically, and Trey and I have not talked about this at all. My dogs are currently on a Jack Johnson kick right now. Like literally the past 2 days, I've just had his discography playing in my backyard, and like the vibe that it creates to just walk out and just, I'm telling Blake about all the hardships of owning a house and the shit that breaks and you fix it and you try to break it more and stuff. So like, to have that has been so sweet, and this song definitely rides.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm sure you knew this, Trey, but like Carly and Todd and I were all big Jack Johnson fans.
That was another part of it too, I think subconsciously, is like because we went with Nirvana and I knew that was one of your favorite bands. I remember you had the other big album that he had. He had a big poster on that in your bedroom at Cindy's.
Sleeping through Sleeping Through Sonic?
Yeah, I think so.
Or maybe it's To the Sea. It was either To the I think it was To the Sea.
It was To the Sea.
Yeah, and Sleep Through Static is another one of his albums. I fucking love Jack Johnson, man. I will never get tired of him. Every one of his albums are so good. And yeah, like Jack Johnson is a little repetitive. Like a lot of his music is the same, but Jack Johnson started making music to put over surf videos. Yeah. That's the only reason he started making music. And it's simplistic, but it's beautiful, and it's a warm hug.
Wait 1 second, keep talking.
Anyway, it's a warm hug, and this song is a hard ride for me. And I need to go back. It made me want to go back and re-listen to to more Jack Johnson music because I used to listen to him all the time. Did you listen to him too, Anthony? Well, I know now you're playing it for the dogs, but like when you were in high school, were you listening to him?
Well, Christian and his brother brought Jack Johnson to me through his dad. Like back when I was burning CDs, I remember Christian gave me his whole binder and was like, "You can burn these," you know. So I burned them. So I had copies of them, and that was my first exposure. And I really enjoy listening to him. And I'm trying to find this documentary. Yeah, there's a documentary called "Thicker Than Water." If you find that and watch that, it's very much doing, and it talks about like his origins. I think in Hawaii. He's from Hawaii, right? I don't want to miss him.
That's from Oahu.
Yeah, so it's like it talks about him and his kind of collective that he used to hang around with, and then kind of the journey from there. But big fan.
So I actually got this book. It's called Surf by Day, Jam by Night, and it's these interviews with a bunch of people that are both either professional surfers and like hobby, like musicians, or professional musicians and hobby surfers. And one of the interviews is with Jack Johnson, and he's like he's like the coolest dude ever. And he was almost a professional surfer. Like he was really fucking good. Apparently,
yeah, he was really good. Yeah, and a little fun fact, like I still piss outside sometimes. Like in my house, I'll just go piss outside. And I literally, like when I was a kid, I watched something with Jack Johnson, and he gets up in the middle of an interview and goes and pees outside, and he's like, "Why would I waste the water if I don't need to?" And so like I still pee outside, and the man will be like, "Why the fuck would you do this? Like you have 3 bathrooms, like just there's one downstairs, like use it." I'm like, "Nah, like why waste the water?"
Yeah.
Still, I ripped that shit from Jack Johnson.
Well done.
Hell yeah.
All right, Anthony, what'd you bring us?
So I believe I brought y'all River of Deceit by Mad Season.
That's
Does that
correct.
sound right? Okay, so Mad Season is a post-grunge supergroup with Lane Staley from Alice in Chains, Mike McCready from Pearl Jam, and a couple other guys too. And they only put out one album, and the album is in a kind of soft, like not softer grunge, but like slower grunge, and really methodic and ethereal and emotional. And I love Lane Staley, and I love how his voice sounds in songs like this. And not very dynamic, but very, I think, internal. It's a very internal song. So what did you guys think? Does it ride or does it die?
I absolutely loved the song. I think Lane Staley's like death anniversary was a couple days ago, which I imagine is why he pulled this maybe.
Yeah.
But this song is like right up my alley. It's super melodic. The lyrics are really sad. But it's just it's vibey. It's great. I'm gonna listen to this record whenever I get a chance, sometime this week, hopefully.
First line of the song is "My pain is self-chosen," so kind of gives you a little heads up what you're about to get into. I thought it was phenomenal. His voice is great and great. This was like a nice footnote to the Nirvana episode because it's a grunge song, but it's slower and very special. So I'm glad you brought it. That was definitely a rides, which sucks. I wish it was a dies because now we're like back to back with like 9 rides, and I feel like we're kind of straying away because Trey's bringing songs that everybody knows are fucking rides. So it's like we have
need
no
some more aggression in this podcast. That's our issue. We're getting too happy-go-lucky over
somebody
here.
Bring a shitty song next week.
Got you covered.
I'll bring a house song. I'll bring a house song for Anthony.
Yeah, it does. But real quick, Trey brought it up. 2 days ago on the 5th, it's the anniversary of the death of Kurt and Lane. I mean, they both passed on the same day, different years, obviously, but pretty powerful. So definitely wanted to bring it around.
Kind of cool. We were in line with that.
Hey,
yeah, true.
Synchronicity.
All right, so The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie movie, Anthony's pick. So tell us about it. Tell us why you picked it.
All right, so I've been wanting to bring a Guy Ritchie film at some point, and this was probably the better way to do it versus having y'all pick one if the Wheel of Fate and Time decided it. So I saw this movie in theaters, and I just remember I walked in as it was starting in that first kind of scene where Matthew McConaughey's smoking a cigar at the bar, and then you see blood splatter, and I'm like, okay, we're in for it. I've always been a fan of Guy Ritchie films, and he has this knack to bring this British gangster right in front of you, and this is a more contemporary film compared to older ones like Snatch or Lock, Stock, and the Two Smoking Barrels, and this one does not have Jason Statham in the movie, but it does have a massive cast, and I think it does the whole movie is a storytelling kind of showcase, right? Fletcher is kind of walking through this story while meanwhile you're trying to like put the pieces together and figure out how does Colin Farrell's character fit into this, you know. But it's a wild tale. Really, really enjoyed it the first time and enjoyed it every other time really since then. You know, it does that aspect. I was watching it the other day and I noticed the aspect ratio at the very beginning. I'm like, look at this shit. Blake just mentioned it off the Sinners, you know, and here it is, right? So, so hopefully y'all liked it, but definitely curious to get what y'all get y'all's feelings on it.
I want to tell you that Amanda, for once, Anthony is super happy with you. She's
this was
very
partially
happy with
in
you.
that direction too, yeah.
And she
is it because they're British?
Well,
British.
not that she hates listening to British people speak, which I think is fucking hilarious because I'm like, that's what I hear all the time. But she was like, who suggested this movie when we started it? I said, it's Anthony's pick. And she said, oh God, here we go. And so after we got done, she was like, Anthony did a really good job. That was really good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I will say I thought it was I was blown away at how much I liked it. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I don't know shit about Guy Ritchie. I don't know anything about his movies. Like, I didn't know shit going into it. I thought the storytelling, like the way that the timeline kind of works, the storytelling aspect of it, bouncing back and forth between them talking and then the events actually happening, I thought was really good. I thought Colin Farrell was amazing. I'm starting to realize that like I low-key love Colin Farrell with Ballad of a Small Player, and now this, like, I think he's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. He's got skills. I will say Jeremy Strong's character, I don't know what, like, is he gay? Is he not gay? I don't know what's going on with the way that he's talking.
Very effeminate.
That's the Jewish guy who wants to buy him out.
Yeah. I thought like his acting was a little weird to me. Yeah, that was like kind of every scene he was in. I was kind of like, he like shut up and can we move on for something else? But yeah, overall, I thought it was really, really interesting, man. And there's some really funny moments in this movie too. Like some moments that really made us laugh. The thing about fuck and I don't know. There's just a lot of there was a lot of laugh out loud moments. Like when they put him in the box at the end.
Oh yeah,
he's like, I know who's do you want to know? And you can hear him speaking through the box. I thought that was super funny. Some twists I didn't see coming. So overall, good pick. Good pick. I'm tuned in to Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I love any movie that has this like narrative style that kind of goes back and forth. Like it makes me think of the shit with Daniel Craig, the Netflix movies. Like Glass Onion, Knives Out, where there's like, you know, the narration, like, and then the narrator doesn't really know what's happening either, and then he's involved in the story. So like that was really unique and fun. Also, because I'd seen the TV show, but I'd never seen the movie. Curious. So I was like, how is this? It's not really a sequel by any means. It's more so like there's a similar type of character to Matthew McConaughey's character who like is overtaking like this one specific estate, and so it's more so about the guy who owns that estate than it is about the Matthew McConaughey type character.
Interesting.
But what was exactly the same was the way that the underground, like the grow house looked like that. It's the same grow house basically. So like there was little flashes where I was like, oh yeah, like that's kind of like the TV show. The TV show is great, and it's a short series. I would highly recommend it. Actually,
we're gonna watch it. We're gonna start it tonight.
Oh really? Yeah, it's really cool. The guy who owns the estate is hilarious. So yeah, you enjoy it. But yeah, the movie was fantastic. Great action. Like kind of led into it with like a lot of narrative at the beginning. So I loved it. Great pick.
They got approved for a second season of that show.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to correct myself about it being a short series.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I also really liked the ending. I'm glad that it wasn't left ambiguous. I'm glad. It is really funny that he's like, we need an ending. He's like, no, you need a sequel.
I love that.
I'm surprised they haven't made a second one yet. That's shocking to me.
I mean, I think Guy Ritchie, was kind of, he does so many.
Oh, we lost Anthony again, man. Right in the middle of him talking about his film,
his favorite thing. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if this. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear me.
Okay,
oh, there you go.
Yeah,
you're
back.
It's something with this camera, I guess, because now I'm on shitty butthole camera, right? But Guy Ritchie films, they have a flavor to them. Every single one of them, even his military films to his Jason Statham kind of one guy kill 'em all kind of films. But I would suggest go back and watch Snatch. It's got Brad Pitt. It may be like one of his first or second movies, where it's just Brit gangster boxing movie, you know. So it's worth watching. I think
You have to have
y'all would dig
subtitles
it.
on when you watch that movie. You can't understand a word anybody says. Their accents
like
are
Tyson
so
Fury.
yeah, their
Everyone's
accents are
Tyson Fury.
so strong, dude. It's crazy.
All right, so next episode, Trey album, Blake movie, correct?
That is correct.
Yes.
All right, and then we go back to the Wheel of Fate and Time. So this better be a good one, Trey. It's something
All right,
we really
well,
want to
I've
bring.
honestly been feeling the pressure a lot the last couple of days thinking about this. It's like all I've been able to think about nonstop. That's why I was so stressed out and had
Okay.
to listen to Jack Johnson earlier.
All right.
But I figured coming off of, we were just talking about this album the other day. Anthony said he never really listened to this band. And coming off of Nirvana, a band who is very clearly influenced by Nirvana, we're going to do Thank You, Happy Birthday by Cage the Elephant, their second album. I believe we've done the first album
buddy.
before. But this second album is definitely my favorite of theirs. I think it's super dynamic. I'm going to try not to talk about how sad I am that they got bad. But I do want to make one call out that the end of the album is the 12th track, Flow. Those other two songs that are listed on Spotify were bonus tracks that were not included in the original record. So no reason
So
to
we're
discuss
gonna stop
those.
at Flow.
We'll stop at Flow. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Great fucking pick. I'm so excited for this.
Thank you.
Absolute banger. I hope the stress was worth it because you nailed it.
Thank you. I've been getting kind of a musical block recently on things to listen to. We came through with this one. Anthony,
Oh
I'm
my
very,
God.
very curious to hear what you think about it once you get through it.
Just looking through the track list, I'm so excited. I
It's
haven't
so
listened to
good.
this in so long. Okay, movie. We are going to watch. I don't think we've done it before. If we have, I have a backup. But we are going to watch The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. Yeah, a little bit of a action thriller comedy situation going on there. Absolutely fucking phenomenal movie. I think you guys will like it if you haven't seen it. So yeah, The Nice
Word.
Guys.
I've never seen it.
Thank you, happy birthday, and The Nice Guys. I think you have to rent it. I don't think it's streaming anywhere. But yeah, it'll be worth it.
Flush with cash, so no big deal.
All right. Well, everybody, we hope you enjoyed. Thanks, guys, for everything. Anthony, I enjoyed your butthole cam for the last.
Gotta
wasn't
finish
really
on a
that
good
bad.
note, yeah.
It
Nameless,
wasn't that bad.
nameless.
It wasn't that bad.
Peace.
All right. Catch you guys later.
Peace.